Hey folks, welcome to the last video of this year in which I'll recap 2023 and show you guys the dioramas I made, at least the ones I still keep. Before we start, I want to do the honorable mentions to the ones I don't have anymore. The Age of Empires house found its home somewhere in Germany. The sci-fi cargo ship I gave to a friend, it took way too much space in my place. The earthquake-related dioramas were made for a purpose and found their owners. Age of Empires Town Center diorama build I sent off to Greece to an active viewer of my content whom I met over Reddit. The tavern diorama was a pretty entertaining and interesting item to look at, but I gifted it to my tattoo parlor where it would be displayed in a better condition. The shelter in a can diorama I made was a commission work and shipped to its owner. This diorama was fun to make and look at, and specifically expanded my expertise in making objects out of plywood. I challenged myself into making the deers and made somewhat convincing set of deers. Now on to the ones I still have, at least for the time being. With this howitzer diorama, I don't know how I felt or still feel about it. Well, it's too snowy or white for my taste. Made it snowy because at that time people voted for a snowy diorama. This taught me how to make a tank from scratch and how to make explosion effects without using an airbrush, which had been a priceless experience. Also, as a note, I tried making the snow with baking soda hoping it wouldn't yellow. Turns out it does, even if I kept it away from direct sunlight or ceiling lights. This sci-fi jet fighter diorama piece would have been incomplete, so to say, if I used this rather smaller buggy I made first. Instead, I fixed it up with more scale-appropriate one, as you might remember from a couple of months ago. The only thing that would look better, in my opinion, if I filled this side up with a wall or crane-like object. But as it is, I will most likely make a frame around it, and with a hanging option in the back, I will hang this on my wall as I don't have much space. Or when I do have the space, I could still display it horizontally. This 4-section diorama piece was made for a shelf I had in the previous flat, and it just doesn't work in this one, collecting dust in a cabinet. This 3rd section is my favorite of all. For some reason I liked building this more, and there are much more details in this one compared to the other 3. The only thing is, this mech should have had bigger legs. And the smaller mech should have had a smaller turret, that's for sure. There is not much to say about the bridge section and the first German one, but so much to say for the last one. What I mainly learned from this is to not rush my builds. I should have made the legs wider and spaced from each other, as well as should have worked on actual feet instead of stumps. And definitely should have worked on more details for the destroyed building. Moving on to the surviving Age of Empires builds. Probably should have worked better with the woodwork on this one, both in regards to graining of the wood and its color. And probably would have done a better job with the paint of the target board stack. The stables build I paid more attention, focus and time. The only thing that bothers me is this section of the building should have been higher, and probably should have added more scatter objects over the wooden roof. I'm keeping these as I will make more stuff from the game relative to these two. This is one of the most enjoyable builds for me this year. Ever since I got my hands on this figure, I wondered what I would make with it, and the final result had been really satisfying. I'm definitely keeping this as it takes very small space to display. Although logically speaking, should have made a sword or something dropped on the ground. Extra bone fragments and such would look probably cooler. And maybe I should have made a small crow or something perched on the tree or at the tip of one of the arrows on the shield. And finally, these two guys. I really can't find any addition or mistake to this one, but a muzzle brake might have looked better, I think. And maybe some detail work on the fuel tank back there. For the German mech, the gun definitely could have been built better. Maybe more grime, soot, dirt and such on its back, some electrical cables laying around the battery pack here to make it look like a battery pack, I suppose. Might have made this hatch in open position. Probably could have done a better painting on these numbers. The slanted 4 bothers me a bit. But all in all, I really love these two and will keep them. Thank you folks for being here this year, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care and Happy New Year.